this embrace is a representation of love and humanity and an inspiration for all of us to strive towards dismantling the barriers to equality and to prosperity for everyone, to dismantle the barriers of racism and oppression that have been historical. ABCD's history is rooted in the civil rights movement, and it was started in 1962. And our former president and CEO, Bob Coard, actually knew Dr. King. And so it was sort of close to our heart. And so former President John Drew, when he was approached to be a partner, to be a sponsor in those early days, it was a no-brainer for him and the board. It's an inspirational day as a native Bostonian. It's an inspirational day as a human being.
I was about 5 years old when my father took me with him to Arch Street Baptist Church in my hometown of Little Rock, Arkansas, to hear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I will never forget the electricity of that moment when ordinary people were inspired to take extraordinary measures in the name of love. Love, not as a sentiment or a romance, but as a creative weapon, a force for change.
I grew up reading just about everything that Dr. King ever wrote, all of his speeches. I followed Mrs. King as she forged the pathway in this country to celebrate her husband and their collective mission with a national holiday. As I view this magnificent sculpture, I'm reminded of Dr. King's words, "We are all tied together in a single garment of destiny."
I am absolutely humbled and emotional to stand here on this stage as your MC, because I am also standing on the shoulders of the many people of color in this city, like my mom, who was a kid during the school desegregation, getting pelted with rocks from angry mobs as he entered high school. I represent those many people in Boston who passed away without seeing this promise come to life.
This piece by Hank Willis Thomas and Mass Design Group is not only a symbol of the King's legacy, but it's embodiment of their love and the impact of the love within all of us.
We didn't try to impose a vision of what this memorial should be. We went to Boston's Black community and listened. The community told us this has to be more than a memorial. It has to be a catalyst for change and a movement for justice.
Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God.
This sculpture is not only a tribute to the philosophy of love and compassion that guided all the work the Kings did, but also a testament to its urgency and a reminder of our responsibility today to embrace every opportunity we have, to challenge violence with nonviolence, ignorance with empathy, and apathy with action. This community is embedded in the very ground holding up the memorial, which is why all around you'll see the names of the 69 local civil rights leaders who pushed to turn our city into that testing ground for the ideal of freedom.
Right now, I'd like to call up 4 outstanding teenage community leaders to share the names with you.
Reverend Vernon Carter, Melnea Cass, Robert N. Coard.
Bob Coard is an incredible icon to the anti-poverty movement, to Boston, to really the struggles of low-income communities. And he designed ABCD to be a part of the community and neighborhoods, to be active and an activist voice. And so his contribution over more than 45 years really built the anti-poverty movement, along with many, many others who are being honored. He just had a way about him, committed to the work, committed to communities. It's a special moment to see his name on this Freedom Plaza.
I think my father was drawn like a magnet to Boston to complete his PhD, as my mother to the New England Conservatory of Music. They both loved this city because of its proud heritage as a hotbed of the abolitionist movement. And indeed, Boston became the place where they forged a partnership that would change America and make a powerful contribution to the Black freedom struggle.
To me, the strength and intertwined beauty of those hands symbolizes the hopes and dreams of two people who are in love and who share mutual determination to overcome the obstacles of racism, and not merely to survive, but also to prosper and build a better future together for themselves and future generations.
I am very proud to be their granddaughter, but I am also challenged by their inspiring legacies of vision and courage and hope and healing. But I know that I am not alone. There is a sense in which we are all children and grandchildren of Martin and Coretta Scott King.
Yolanda, I'm reminded of your grandfather's words. He said, ultimately, we must come to see that human progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts and the persistent work of dedicated individuals who are willing to be co-workers with God.
When we reflect on Dr. King and his legacy, especially during the month of January, we recall Dr. King as a spiritual and moral leader, scholar and thought leader, an early architect of the civil rights movement. Yet too often, his legacy is reduced to that of a peaceful protester with a dream. When the whole truth is, Dr. King was a proud and unapologetic Black man, a prophetic preacher and a radical dreamer with a bold vision and desire for revolutionary change.
Dr. King is among the few public leaders I know of who moved a big, broad-based, transformative social, economic, and legislative agenda founded entirely on love. He challenged all of us to imagine an America big enough in spirit to respect all of us, to dignify all of us, indeed, to embrace all of us. So let this monument be a reminder to us that history remembers our embraces best of all.
When people come to visit, hopefully they are inspired. They can't help but be inspired by the King's love, the King's embrace of humanity.
To our God.